Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. I'm your host, Devin Dubuque, and today I've got returning co-host Bobby Zapol. Bobby, my man, you have brought along somebody super special. Man, I've gotten a chance to really get to know her in the green room and in our pre-podcast interview. And man, let's do the walk-up, brother. Who do we have here today?
Of course. So we have the amazing Cristina Sison. She is not only a team leader, she's a supporter of all types of growth, success, whether it's personal, professional, faith. She's a member of many communities and many organizations throughout the DMV area. And, quite frankly, she's your realtor for every season.
I love it. Welcome to the show, Cristina. So glad to have you here.
Hey guys, I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule because I know that you're a realtor, but you're a mom. You're involved in a lot of different things. And at the end of the day, to pin you down, even for 25 minutes, we're taking away from all those great people that need you. So thank you so much for taking the time to jump on and have a conversation with us today.
Absolutely. Pleasure is all mine. And would love to share and talk to you guys about whatever we need to talk about today.
Well, I'll say we're going to talk about Y, O, and U because you're pretty awesome. And let's talk about where you're from originally, right? We always like to do a little where did you come from and how did you get to where you are today? So where are you from originally, Cristina?
Okay, I am Filipina. I went to school in the Philippines. I've been in this country for almost 30 years now. And so I consider myself an American.
You are.
And an American immigrant. And started real estate ever since I graduated from college and in Asia. And then when I came here, I still pursued real estate. Always been my passion. So we're talking about research, highest and best use, appraisal, commercial real estate, anything that has to do with real estate. I want to be that person, that your go-to person in exploring the real estate here in the U.S. So,
Cristina, you're one of the few. We bring on people from East Coast to West Coast and everywhere in between. And typically, when we talk about how'd you get in the industry, it was by mistake, right? Like a lot of people got here because they just did, they didn't know, but they turned out and they turned out to serve this industry and serve it very well.
Or second career, right?
That's what exactly. Exactly. This was your passion, right? Like this was always your passion.
Yeah, I mean, what happened was that when I got after college, my first job was a research assistant for one of the startup real estate study feasibility study real estate startups in the Philippines, and we determine we have some land, and then we need to determine what's the highest and best use of the land, looking at resort. Golf resort projects, luxury villas, different types of communities. And I love to learn. I remember that I was caught up in sea because we're doing this peninsula for one of the luxury projects. And I was in the South China Sea with the architect and one of the principals. And I was there trying to name what the name of the resort would be. And those are the experiences that I had until now. Crazy. I still won't forget. I almost died in South China Sea, So it was pretty crazy. But going to the US, I migrated here because my mom was here and my sisters were here, and they said, Cristina, I want to be with family. So left my career in the Philippines and moved here, and I realized that there's no other industry I want to be here, and they did real estate here as well. So I'm a broker for the DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I'm a licensed broker for the 3 states, and just love to learn. And I have a passion for learning new things, reading about life, and there's so much to learn. Sky is the limit. There's so much possibilities in this life, it's so grateful to be alive and so grateful to be here. So
I love your passion. I love your
Thank you.
spirit. And, we talk about, from luxury resort real estate
Mm-hmm.
to, luxury real estate in the DMV area. But one of the things
Mm-hmm.
you talked about was, being well read and always looking to learn. That's one of the things that we talked about in the green room before we jumped on. I think you're reading a book right now. What are you reading right now?
Oh, we're reading right thing right now. This book is about good values, good character, good deeds. It just says that we have this moral compass. We have we see it rarely these days. Moral character, decency, honor, integrity. Sometimes you can be great, you can be successful, but you can be not good, right?
That's
And
right.
so what's the point? What's the point of that?
Yeah.
You're basically, if you actually have those pillars of virtue in you, you have the courage, you have the temperance, you have justice, you have wisdom. Those are the four pillars. But I don't want to explain that because it's going to be another podcast. But just making sure that just do
Yeah.
good within yourself, because sometimes nobody can see it, but deep inside if you're a good person or not.
That's right.
We have that
Moral compass.
categorical imperative. We have that conscience that really makes us go back to what is actually right, and
Yeah.
we just stick to that. Like, so it's important. Like, we actually adhere to, like, just even basic principles, like the person's time,
Yeah.
like ability to be reliable. If you say that
Respect.
you're gonna
Yeah.
do it, you're gonna do it, things
Yes.
like that. And eventually, all these little things add up. And even if you're not great, you're just a good person, eventually you're gonna be recognized as great. Oh, that's a great person, because you have just you have enacted on all these little things that makes you a good person. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Like, sometimes even if there's a successful person, but she has a reputation of crossing people, you know what I mean, and not being fair.
Yeah.
For me, that's not successful person,
Well,
because
so what it's funny what you talk about. One of the things that I try to live by and I learned with is they talk about respecting your inner child. And with that, it's the most innocent, truest form of who you are. And when you live your life, in honor of that inner child, it's basically like you said, it's going through those four pillars because, before you're quote unquote corrupted by the world, you come in and, you have these things within you and beliefs. It goes through pretty much all religions, all classes, all people. Everybody is born with I personally believe that nobody's born innately bad. And
yeah. But we have to always watch what our purpose would be. That's why I always tell my friends or my colleagues is, what is your why? What is your purpose in this
Yes.
life?
Yes.
Because if you don't know your North Star, you're gonna get haywired and you're gonna get sideswept. And then suddenly you're gonna be overcome with your ego, you're gonna become with your selfishness and your interest, and then you lose that. What they call it in the book, North Star. What is your North Star? What are you really aiming at? And
That's
you
right.
don't lose that sight of your North Star, because if you do, you were only human. So the self discipline is so important. I mean, like, it's all human. We always waver, right? But then once you cross that path, it's so hard to come back. And it's
Absolutely.
like so hard to, let's say, bribery, like people, oh, it's just a small thing, and then it adds up, and then suddenly you become brazen about it. So
But once you
so
cross that line, right, it's too easy to cross it again and again and again. And what you're talking about is having a strong moral compass and staying true to who you are and what you truly believe in,
and
right?
then I think people who do that are happier.
They are.
you know
Um, Absolutely.
and that's
Because
why
there's
people are
nothing
not
in the
happy,
back of your
because there's
mind.
something missing, they always say, right?
Yeah.
But that's why, in our craft, especially the mortgage business and real estate business, I always ask myself, is that justifiable? Is that being fair? Because in our business, you don't have to be you don't have to be fair. You just have to be honest, right?
That's right.
That,
Absolutely.
that's what we that's that the industry. And as long as you don't cross this this sort of dysregulation and stuff like that, right? But then you always have to ask for yourself, like, is that fair? Like, I have these old people in the house and they're gonna be homeless, you know, and I need to kick them out. Okay, let's say they haven't paid a mortgage, but you have to realize what is fair, what's a win-win for both parties.
That's right.
Like, are you gonna be a person that will just kick them out and be like, no, Christina, we're not gonna give them anything, you know, or you can still win, but at the same time, you can still treat those people,
Fairly.
you know, fairly. And they say, Christina, that's not, you're not gonna be a good business person if you treat everybody fairly. But it's not that.
I
It's more
disagree.
like you can still win, you know,
That's right.
especially in our business.
There's
So
always a good compromise for everybody to win in a situation, and if you use
yeah,
that,
like with realtors, if they're listening, like you have some stuff about, you know, home inspection items, and a lot of people do shortcuts in those items, and then we're gonna put them under the rug, etc. You know, it's better for you to just be transparent and disclose. Okay, this is what's happening. You know, this is what it is. What is your call? What do you want to do about it? And then just tell the you know, the other party, hey, my client is not willing to fix all those electrical outlets, but we're going to fix this, etc., etc. This is it. This is what we can do for you. I think that is fair. What do you think? And, you know, try to negotiate on those aspects, because, you know, especially, don't discuss that, just hide it, you know, like remove all the lights, you know, like some people, like, because I've been in the industry for a long time. I've been in this business 25 years. I've seen a lot, and of course I want to be a good person, so like I want to make sure that I can impart those to the
You gotta
people
sleep
I
at night.
mentee. Yeah.
you got to sleep at night because you're taking care of people and you're guiding them to something that's very important for them. It's their home, and I just want you guys to take a second to listen to what Christina's saying, because what she's talking about is if you get yourself involved with the wrong realtor or partner in any business, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. You're not getting that kind of transparency. And, at the end of the day, you've got to be able to work with somebody that you can trust. And, that's what Christina's talking about here is, she's always here to do the right thing for you. She's got a moral compass. She has a vision. She cares. But one of the things that you brought up, Christina, and I want to explore this, is you said, I keep talking to everybody about talking about their why. And that's something that's important to us too. So guess what? What is your why, Christina?
Oh, my why. Okay,
I
wow.
want to hear it.
Okay, what is my why? My why is to be the best mom for my daughter. That's my why right now. Our why always changes, really, right? But to be the best mom for my daughter. So what I can do for her. So like everything, like even if I'm super tired and then I'm trying to like show houses and I think, I need this in order for her to be, for her to have a good life, I mean, that is my why, just to make sure that I can give her enough. And at the same time, so when it comes to a choice, like I always have my schedule around my daughter, because that's what's important to me, and that's what I have. That's my North Star. That's my purpose, like
Well,
to be a good mom to my
let's pull it
daughter.
back a
A
little
good
bit,
mom
Christina.
also means that you're staying healthy, because sometimes sometimes we're prone to eat because we're busy, right? So I'm just gonna eat this and everything. I mean, we're all guilty
No
of
comment.
that.
No comment.
Yeah. But at the same time, you always have to think, oh my God, I'm in my late 50, early 40s, late 50s, whatever. And then you eat whatever you want, but then you always think, oh my God, am I going to be healthy for my daughter? Am I able
Gotta
to
be
run
here. Yeah, we gotta
and
be
play with
here.
her? You know what I mean? So all these things like add up. And then I said, yeah, I want to be, I also want to look good for her, because, I mean, staying good makes her happy. She's not going to be worried about me, all those other things revolve around here, and then
I think
support.
there's more than that.
Yeah.
You're talking
So,
about, because you're molding her to become who she's going to be, right? And at the end of the day, if at a young age she sees that mom is here to stay fit and stay healthy, and you're guiding her with the right tools to make sure that that's who she becomes too, right? You know,
yeah, and then I'm guilty of that. I'm still trying. That's why I talk about discipline, because as long as you have that intent, and you have you learn to have that discipline. And she runs, so I'm participating in a 5K run. I never do that, but like it, and it also helps me. It's a very, very, and by the way, she's my number one endorser.
Yeah, I know.
She well, actually, it's really funny. Let me tell you a story. She's very gracious daughter. She's very kind. So the teacher called me in our school and said that she was called in the principal's office. So I was worried. I was like, why? And I found out that she defended these two kids from a bully. You know,
Good.
and that resulted to her, those two parents asking me to have lunch to thank me for my daughter helping their defending the two boys, and she's a girl. So it's just like, oh my god, we have the boys, but your daughter defended us and she's a girl. She's like a, really, really, really funky. You should meet. She's an amazing girl, and
Well,
because of that, she said, "Mom, you have to have lunch with them because I asked one of the parents, and they're looking for a house." So we had lunch, and then I sold them a house. That was a year and a half ago now, but it's like a 1.6 million house.
well, and let's talk about that too, because your number one why is your daughter, and a couple of things that I know is your daughter obviously is a bully stopper, right? But she also does competitive soccer, and if I remember correctly from our original conversation, she also is a singer, right? She's a performer. Is
Yes,
that
she's a
correct?
singer.
Yeah.
So record this conversation because in the next 2 years, she's gonna join America's Got Talent or The Voice.
That's
So,
huge.
you never know. And then you record this conversation and you don't know where it's gonna go. But she told me, she said, Mom, in a year or two, but she's being asked to sing in all these charity functions. Like on May 31st, we're gonna have the Filipino American Festival at Fair Oaks Mall, in one of the malls here in Fairfax. And it's a big event. And she's singing, and she sang the national anthem in one of the local Miss Northern Virginia, Miss Tyson's events by
Amazing.
Miss America. So she sang there too. So she's got a good future ahead of her. So
It's awesome.
I'm gonna live vicariously through her. Those things that I've never did.
But that's awesome because you're there to support her and help promote her and put her in the best possible opportunity for her to create successes after you, right? And that's your legacy, right? The legacy is that she's going to live on after you, and having a mother there that's there to nurture her and care for her and to lift her up and help point her in the right direction. That's so amazing, man, because there's not everybody out there doesn't get that, right? Not
Yes.
everybody gets that.
Yeah, but if you actually invest in that relationship, you actually get more from it than what you actually give.
That's right.
Like it's so surreal because like even if I were in the elevator and she says, "Have a good day, guys," and then it's like, "Have a wonderful day," and then I just see people say, "What a nice kid," like
Yeah.
it's like it just warms your heart that
Amazing.
you have a person that like has goodness in her heart,
I love that.
and I don't know if that's gonna change though. Teenagers gonna be, but right now I'm happy. So that's my why. That's my
Yeah.
why.
Well,
Yeah, being
it's a yeah,
I know.
you've got a great why and somebody to go out there and really live for and support, and you're doing an amazing job with that, right? And what's
Thank
crazy
you, guys. Yeah.
is I've seen your production report too, so it's like you're doing all these great things. Last time when I said production report, I've seen what you're doing on the real estate side too. It's like, well, how are you out there running competitive soccer? Getting her out here to do these performances.
Mentoring for three agents. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And still getting all managing agents, exactly, and doing personal production too. Like Christine is there a cape back there? Like, are you a superhero? Like, what's going on?
It's the ability, like I always tell the folks, like aside from the effective marketing strategies that's available, adaptability to technology. Real estate agents out there, the technology that we have right now, you can actually do 3, 4, 5 deals in a week because of technology. So, ability for you to be able to manage your time, with time blocking.
Yes.
So one of the things that is effective for me that I can share is this clock. I have this clock. Everybody has this clock? You know what this is?
It's a chess clock, right?
No. It's a 60-minute clock,
Okay.
30-minute clock. And what it does is that if I turn this on, puts it there, it actually has a time. It's a time. What do you call this? Rundown
The
time.
ticker. Yeah.
So yeah. So what I do is that when I'm into focus to doing my top 3 things that I did for the day. First of all, I'm gonna say what is the most important thing that I want to do for the day. That if I do that thing in a day, I would be okay.
Right.
Because you don't want to be hard for yourself. So you're going to do that first, because sometimes the hardest thing that you want to do in the day, don't want to face it. So you want to do like all these little things, and then come to the thing that you needed to do. There's no more time for you to do it,
Creative
So,
avoidance.
right. So I just wanted to do the first thing that is most important for the day. Sometimes I'm guilty. It's like, I don't want to do it. But then like it just gives you that urge to say, okay, I'm going to do it. Now how am I going to do it is that I have a clock, 60 minutes, I'm not going to be disturbed. Okay. This is the thing. Just focus, because we lose 15 minutes all the time
That's
when we
right.
switch to a topic. So once we have that clock and says, okay, it's there, I'm just going to focus on that. And then after the timer is done, 60 minutes, I'm going to relax 15 minutes, do that stuff, read a book, relax, talk to a friend, whatever. And then after that, I'm going to do it. Mind you, I only do that 2-3 hours per day. I did everything already.
That's screen
Does that
time.
make sense?
Yeah.
Because
it does.
because of the focus of
green time.
that specific
Yeah.
tasks.
So we
And
call
then,
it green
yeah.
time, and basically we do similar things here. So this is a 3-minute egg timer. We try to keep our phone calls to 3 minutes or less, right?
Oh, I love that. I need to get that.
I also have a remote control right here for my timer on my desk so that we can focus. And one of the things that Bobby and I do every single day, because we've got another team that works around us, is we get on camera at 9 o'clock our time, 10 o'clock yours. And for 2 hours, we actually make phone calls together to reach out to the people that we need to communicate with, so that it's consistent and recurring. And we literally do it every day, Monday through Friday, to make sure that we're getting the green time activity accomplished. So I love
God,
that you
I
do
love
this.
that.
I love that you do this, Christina, because this is
Yeah.
one of the things that people need to hear, right? If you're out there and you're struggling in your business, know that having that focus time, it has to be a non-negotiable for you. And like Christina said,
Yeah.
it can
It's
be
a
60
power
minutes.
block. It's a power block.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
I love it.
empowered. And then they say, guys, like sky's the limit. I always tell them, oh, no, sky's the limit. You can achieve anything, and you manifest that, and it's going to happen as long as you believe in it. It's not saying that we're perfect. We always fall down the stray, right? We don't have perfect days. But then if you come back and say, hey, I have another day, and another day to be the best version of myself, but so important, we have to do the right thing.
That's
like
it.
always, especially in our business. There's a lot of shortcuts, and I've been in business of 25 years now, and thank God, I've gone through, temptations and like all these sort of like crossroads, and thank God I'm here,
Absolutely.
and I'm so grateful for that. And now I'm mentoring 3 agents. We meet every Tuesday, so Tuesdays are my days to be able to really
lead.
mentor them.
Yeah.
And then and like because of today's technology, it's so
Let's give a
it's just
technology
so-
tip, Christina. You said that, what's one piece of tech right now that if you're a realtor that you would say is a must-have in this industry?
You know what? It's funny because they're not gonna pay me. But you're listening. Okay, all right. I just got a team account for Real Scout. I love it. Okay, because they have this feature wherein you put all your database, and then they have sort of a they actually farm the properties, and you can see who looks at their value of their properties in real time, and then it connects with the follow-up boss. So when I look at it, it just tells me, oh, all of these people look at their values of their homes.
That's it.
And then
Yeah.
you can sort of like call them, and so it's good. It's a
Touch point.
machine that works out, but at the same time, you're there to dig into the property more that the normal client wouldn't able to know. Like for example, like, oh, they get everything from the internet, and then what are you gonna give on the table? Of course, you've been to the property, you know what's the history of that street,
That's right.
you know all those little things that nobody, that you as an agent with your experience, because you're on the field. Because I've been in the industry for 25 years. I've seen all the streets. Like sometimes I look at people with zip codes. It's not even funny. It's like, oh, you live in 22301, like that.
Yeah.
So, but that's my knowledge skill. That's the
That's
skill
it.
I've developed because
You're
of.
like you're like the Matrix, right? You see the numbers.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
are
But
people there,
because
but you see. I
no,
love
because
it.
I've been in the industry for a long time.
Yeah.
So I sort of like,
Well, you know
like
your
it's like a
market.
subconscious real estate knowledge that I can impart, like subconsciously. And then I talk like, especially now, like I have this book about probate, like
Uh-huh.
what is the roadmap when somebody dies, what do you need to do? You know what I mean? Like
That's right.
things like that. Like, okay, step one, step two. Like some people, because the reason why I did that is because I have this client that he got a tax bill because he didn't pay the taxes for
Yeah.
his mom's estate, and it's gonna be on a tax sale. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
then he owes 70,000, property's worth 800,000. You know what I mean? And what to do?
That's right.
It's gonna be the tax sale is next week. Christina, please help me. So I got him an attorney. We had to stop it. We had to arrange all of these things. And eventually his friend bought it. I
That's
didn't
huge.
really get anything, but like you said, oh, Christina, what is your fee on doing that stuff? Because I kind of sort of helped him
Right.
stop
You
the
guided him.
sale. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Well,
things like that.
I
So
want to stop you there real quick because I want to run that back again. A lot of times we talk about choosing the right realtor partner or choosing the right partner in the industry, and at the end of the day, one of the things we open with is Christina's always looking to constantly educate herself. And here's another place where she doesn't have to stop and do that. She doesn't have to learn about probates and how to make sure that she's setting these folks up. But these are not just sales. These are relationships that she's built. And she wants you to know that when you do business with her, the transaction doesn't stop just because the home is sold, right? She's still going to be a resource for you after the transaction. And that is so important and it's so valuable, right? In addition that the experience, she said, I see, areas in zip codes because she understands the market really, really, really well. And this is so important when you're trying to work with the right person, because when you have those values, somebody that's going to take the time to always be at their best, to do the right thing, to have the moral compass, to look out for the people that she cares about, which is you, her borrowers, that are looking to become homeowners or are already homeowners. And even after the fact, if you're struggling in a situation where you need some help and great real estate advice, even if she doesn't know, she's going to take the time to pick up a book, read it, learn about it so that she can help you out of a tight situation. Those are the kind of qualities that I look for when I want to have somebody in my corner selling real estate, right? Somebody that I can trust before and after the transaction.
We like to call that unreasonable hospitality.
Yeah.
yes, that's a good way to see it. But yeah, so also it's also important that what do you call this, that the clients, you'll be able to deliver what you promised. I
Yes.
think what's so important right now is that there are other people, oh, we can do this, and then eventually they can't, and then it suddenly becomes a problem,
Well, I'll
like.
send
But at
you.
the same time, we also have boundaries, because
Yep.
like clients, usually, because we're so involved, right? And sometimes, I don't know about you, Bobby or Devin, sometimes you care about the client so much
We
that
do.
Well,
sometimes you.
it's funny you said that. Like literally last week, we were
I
going
was
through a
going to go in the same place,
situation,
Bobby.
and like Thursday night, I didn't sleep. Friday morning, I woke up. I had an upset stomach. The first thing I did was reached out to Devin before work started, and I said, Devin, we need to find a solution because I physically am care about these people so
Yeah.
much that I can't sleep. My stomach hurts. We have to find a solution. So, like, literally, exactly that. We
Well, let's
talk
put that in
about.
let's put that into reference, Bobby. So, effectively, we've got a client who had started their journey with a different lender, and the lender had basically come back and said, "Hey, we can't move forward because of this." And the client was starting to lose hope. They had a short period of time left to get their loan to the closing
Did you
table.
see it? Mm-hmm.
And, effectively now they're thinking my dreams are crushed, right? I can't buy the house. And so they approached us with it and we looked at it and effectively it looked like something we could do. But as we got closer to the end game, we
Mm-hmm.
realized that some of the issues that the other lender was struggling with were real issues, right?
Real
So
issues. Oh.
what did we do? So we sat down with the owners and we were able to crack the code and find a solution that was able to make this client a homeowner that nobody probably else would have been able to do, right? Effectively, we went really deep on this transaction just to get these clients home because it was important to us that we see that client out. We could have very easily called up and said, nope, this is not a doable deal.
Yeah.
There's no way to make that happen. But, now you have, Bobby talking to me and me on the phone with our two owners and going, look, how do we make this happen? How do we make this work? And literally 2 days later, our clients are moving into their property and the sellers are able to purchase theirs and move into their property. And so we've got two new homeowners, right, as a result of that. And the client calls us crying because he made her dreams come true, right? But that's because we cared. Because if we didn't care,
That's
we would have just
awesome.
sit, And
Yeah. So grateful for you guys. That's awesome.
100%, and that was it. His problems are my problems, right? We want to make people homeowners. Like that's important. It's such a big dream. And that's why we talk to people like you, Christina, because you share those same passions. You're there, like you said, we could do the wrong thing. You got the old couple that, we could move out of the property and put them in a bad situation, or we could take that same couple and come up with a great solution that resolves the situation and helps everybody. And how do I sleep at night? I sleep pretty darn good knowing that we did the right thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I think that's that's really, really cool. That you did that and really delve deeper and not give up and see
That's it.
what creative solutions there are to be able to
It's
solve
important.
some
It's so important.
issues.
It's so important. What goes back to your moral compass and doing things for the right reasons, So
Yeah, they say do the right thing right now.
right thing right now.
Yes.
So, Christina, as much as I would
Yes.
love to keep you here all day, I know you have clients to serve and you got that little angel at home that needs her mommy. What did we not talk about today that we should have?
We talked about secrets to real estate success. Probably we did talk about it a little bit. I said probably adapting to technology, networking, relationship, market knowledge and research. Client centric approach, which we all do have. I think we talked about that, right? Maybe the
100%.
persistence and resilience, the ones that we how to handle those rejections or setbacks, or we have creative solutions to all these issues.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think I just want to summarize what we sort of like talk about.
Yeah.
And this is not scripted, guys. It's like
No.
this is continuous flow of information, of good talks. So yeah, I would love to explore, and I hope your listeners have also got good advice, and
100%.
I'm super grateful for you guys to have me on the show.
Oh, we're grateful to have you on the show and, just to be able to showcase somebody who is out there, fighting for the homeowners and doing it for the right reasons and has a why, which is somebody that she really cares about and wants to see grow up and have her own legacies, So I love your story, Christina. I love the fact that, you came to this country and just have just flourished personally and helped so many people. I love what you're doing, with your family. And man, I got to tell you, when the folks out there want to find you, I think you said DC, Maryland, Virginia, you kind of cover that whole territory.
Yes,
Is that
I
right?
covered the whole territory. Everything that is about 30 minutes from the DC metro area radius, we can cover. And then I have a team of experts with me,
Yep.
helping me guide you guys. And at the same time, also, if you need just any questions about real estate, I can offer a free consultation and see whether we can work together and see what I can do for you.
I love it. I love it. Well, when they want to find you, we know the market you serve, 30 minutes around the DMV, right? And
Yeah.
guys, just so you know, she can serve the whole state, but the reason she does that is because she's an expert in those areas and she wants to guide you
Yeah.
to, where her expertise is, right?
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
love that. But how do they find you? What's the best way to get in touch with Cristina
Oh,
Sison?
sure, sure. They can get in touch with me through my phone number. I have the my cell phone number 202-812-3354, or I have my office number 202-998-4645. And also they can go to seasonhomes.com, sisonhomes.com, and then just send me a message from there. Also, I'm in Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Even you go to Google business page, just type my name and they can find me. But my Christina is CR, not CH. So I can't find her, yeah, but just put Christina without an H and then you can find me.
Christina
But
without an H.
yes, the realtor for all seasons, yeah. But yeah, that's so far no. But at the same time, I am so grateful to be here and be part of your team, and hopefully, Bobby and I can explore possibilities.
Well,
And
there's no hope. It's going to be when it happens. We
yeah,
have the courage.
when
We
we
have the
have we're
courage.
gonna
Yeah,
have a next podcast and discuss about the nature of the
All the
transaction
people
that
we've served, all the
exactly.
people we've served through all the seasons.
happened. Yeah.
So,
Thank you guys
Christina
for all you
Season, hey, thank
do.
you. Yeah, thank you so much. And hey, guys, if you're listening in, go to the description and you're going to find all of Christina's info right down in the description area, phone numbers and emails and, or I'm sorry, websites, ats, right? However you want to get in touch with her. If you're watching, you probably saw it scroll right across the bottom of the screen. So pay attention to that. And don't worry about jotting it down real fast because, again, I don't want you to wreck your car. Well, hopefully you're not watching. But anyways, I want you to make sure that you know that it's in the description. So go back there, grab that information, find the right realtor for all seasons, Cristina Sison. And Bobby Zapol, brother, you're up there in the DMV too, my brother. When the folks out there want to find you, how do they find you?
Of course. Well, I'm trying to make myself as visible as I possibly can. So much like Christina, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I also have a Google business page. So if you'd like, you can just type my name into Google. It should be the first result that pops up. You can always send me an email at bzapol@premierlending.com. And in addition to that, I am available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week via my cell phone. Right down here, 301-922-4970. And yeah, I'm trying to help out as many families as I can this year. That is one of my goals. So
I
I'd
love
love
it.
to
I
talk to
love it.
anybody I could.
So Bobby
Thank you.
Zapol on the lending side, Cristina Sison on the real estate side, and serving that DMV marketplace and serving
Yes.
it so well. So, well, guys, we appreciate you as always tuning into the show, and make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We love to hear from you. We'd love to hear, if you want to be a guest, if you got a question, right? Let us know. We'll be back next week with more great information. But until then, have a great week. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.